Okay, so in this part of this strategy session deck, I'm going to be talking about like the first like 8-ish slides right before we get into the audience persona and we start doing the strategy. These are just the intro slides, like getting everything familiar before we actually start diving into the stuff, but I think it's important to talk about why these are so important. So, why are they so important? It's really important before you start this big, huge 2-hour phone call. There's a lot of pressure on everybody to get the answers that they need in this phone call. So you want to get everybody comfortable and getting to know each other. Sometimes like there's team members. I've been on strategy calls where I'm like, there's a sales coach and people I've never met and people who have never met each other. And so I want to understand what their needs are, get them met, get them comfortable. I also have everybody's roles established so they understand that I am the one leading this call. You need to do this so that they understand you are the one leading this call. You're going to be taking charge and you have this little system you're going to be kind of running them through. Another reason is you're going to be explaining just like what's going on because again, it's a 2-hour phone call and if you don't give them a heads up of what's going on and what to expect, they're going to be really confused. They're never going to know when it's end and it's going to kind of drag on. So let's get into each of the specific slides. Okay, so first we've got the title slide, pretty basic. I just go in and change the client's name out. Next thing I do is I say, okay guys, like I want to, after we do introductions and I say hi, all those kinds of things, I ask, let them know what they can expect during this call. I tell them, okay guys, I'm so excited to have you guys here. Want to let you know a little bit about what you can expect during this call. Here's what we're going to be doing first. We're going to first very briefly for 1 to 2 minutes define what a brand is. Second, do the target. We're going to talk about the target audience. And third, we're going to go through your values. And then you're going to check in. Yes, is that good? Next slide, you're going to talk about the guidelines. I set up a few rules or guidelines in my strategy calls. It's not really rules. It's basically how they can set up this call for the best successful outcome possible. And there's a few ways that we have to do that. The first guideline is that everybody has to be open to any and all solutions. The reason why I ask everyone to be open to solutions is sometimes some of the team members can think that they know it all and they don't want to be open to any solutions, or they think that what they're doing currently is fine. They just want a quick and fast solution. And so if I say we're going to talk about some pretty big solutions here, be open to that, be open to any solution, then we get that going. Second thing is I talk about that there is no wrong answer. The reason why I say this is because you're going to be asking a lot of questions and your client can feel a lot of pressure to give the right answer. And if they don't feel like they're giving the right answer, they'll feel a little hesitant. They might not open up completely. And so when you tell them like there's no wrong answer, we are just transferring information from you to me, we're brainstorming, and this is a really open conversation where anything goes, then they feel a lot more safe to open up and ask you questions and to go back and forth in that dialogue with you. Third thing that I always talk about is to speak in simple terms. I tell my clients to talk to me and to talk about this industry and their brand as if they were explaining it to their mom. When we talk about it in the simplest way possible, things get translated in a very simple, clear, and concise way. It's really easy when you're talking about branding and you're talking about this industry to use really like high-level industry terms, but it's best when things are brought down to really simple, easy, understandable things. And of course, the last guideline is just have fun. Okay. The next thing that I will do is I will identify what the goals are of the brand. And the reason why I do this slide is I first remind them all why we're here. I remind them that this is the thing that we're ultimately working towards. And so as you talk about these slides with your client, you're going to tell them this is what we're directing everything towards. As we talk about your audience and we talk about solutions, think about solutions that help this goal in mind. And you can again ask them, does this sound good? Is there anything else I need to add? I get all of this information from the questionnaire and the sales call. And usually it's just like, yeah, good to be approved. Now, the next slide, there are multiple people in the room or multiple people on the call. Then I will ask every person, Brooke, Sam, like, what are you wanting to get out of this call? As we talk about your brand, the brand, and we start clarifying your brand, what are the things that you, blank, want to get out of this? What do you want to get out of this? What do you want to get out of this? And then at the end of the call, you can check back in with everyone and make sure that they felt like this was a good, successful call. Okay, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to explain what a brand is very briefly. Now, you can explain this however you want. If you don't feel like this is the best description for you and your business, then come up with something else. But it's really good to identify what it is that you're actually doing, because a lot of the times there can be so many miscommunications about what a brand is. A lot of people think branding is an identity or a logo, or it's just such an elusive topic. It's good to be like, here's what it is, here's what we're working towards. And here's my definition. So I say your brand and your brand identity are not the same thing. This is what a brand identity is. It's the visual elements of your brand, and the brand, and this is just my favorite definition, is what other people say and feel about your brand when you're like not in the room. And I got this definition from the book, The Brand Gap. It's also like a really good lead into the next thing, where I'm like, your brand is not what you say it is. It's what other people say it is. And the great thing is we can control that narrative of what other people say about your brand, but how people feel about you and your branding is so important. And that's why I always like to talk about your audience and the people first, and make sure we really understand them and how they are thinking of your brand right now. And then that's when I start diving into the strategy. Those are all my intro slides to help get my client comfortable, help them feel like they know what they're doing, and get them set up for a successful strategy call.